Hello noble ones, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking, and we are back with the history squad because you guys enjoyed my reaction to his crossbow video. And since you all like crossbows, but you also like archers and bows, we've got to find a video of his about archery, just, you know, to have a complete picture, a bit like the papal bull that banned crossbows and bows, both of them. Everybody forgets the second part. They're all like, oh, the crossbow's been banned, and so did the archery get banned. Nobody cared. Well, maybe someone did. Archers, sir. Oh, he's got one about the arrow and the nay. Arrow to the nay. Oh, I love that. Maybe next time. The Longbow, simple design, deadly power. I like that. Let's go. Man, he's a good shot.
Hi, my name's Kevin Hicks. Welcome to the History Squad. Now, today's video is shooting on location, where I like to shoot, down in the sandpit here. We're going to have a look at the longbow, the anatomy of the longbow and the arrows, if you like. What made it so famous in the 100 Years' War, for instance, and also the Wars of the Roses. What made the longbow, the English and the Welsh longbow, so great? Well, first of all, it wasn't just the weapon. The weapon is a tool in the hands of a professional.
He's absolutely right. It's the English archers that made it particular because of the laws that we have discussed already, whereby people were required to train, were required to train constantly between the age of 16 and 60. Yeah, it's like other continental powers did use longbowmen as well as crossbowmen, of course. But the English were really good at it because of the archers. The longbow is the same weapon, really.
But if you have a look at these, I've been shooting this for a little while, and I've found that the string has come down. So the old fist melt. How's it going, mate? And I'm English, not Australian. So
I can't believe people tell him he's Australian. Yeah, I actually remember that. Whenever I say mate, which I sometimes do, hello mate, you all right mate? Cheers mate. Usually Americans mistake you for an Australian. That does happen because they associate the word mate with Australians, even though, I mean, the English used it first, and then, you know, the relocated English that are now Australians kept it as well. He's clearly
when I started
English.
Shooting this morning, my bowstring rested perfectly on there. But I've shot a few dozen arrows now, and the string has come down. So what I've got to do is I've got to restring it. And it can be a nuisance, but it has to be done. So all I do is I'm not putting on a new string. I put my foot down there.
I put me foot. I love this guy.
Pull the bow. There you go. I will now take the string off the bottom, and I'll wind him up a little bit.
Wind him up?
That's all I'm doing, is just winding the string against itself. Just a few turns, that should be okay. Clip him back on. Make sure he's in the right groove there. Now, normally, I've seen in the films and I've seen powerful men, you pull it and you push it and you can actually string it. I don't like doing that. I've had a bow snap on me when I broke the end of a bow, and it broke my heart.
Yeah.
I use a stringer, and I recommend anybody, when you restring your bow, use a stringer. It's dead easy. Put it on the grooves at the end there. Make sure you got the extra grooves in the nock. Step on the string. Pull the bow up. There's no stress on the bow. Oh, you look at that. Yeah, just above the fist melt, but that'll come down. These bows are quite incredible. Now, this one's been repaired and repaired. This is, I think, my second bow from Don Adams. Who I understand's not very well at the moment, so I wish him well.
Oh, no.
This bow now.
Yeah, look at that beautiful natural lamination that you see there. And you can see the distinction between the hardwood and the sapwood. This is beautiful.
Part of 30 years I've been shooting it. But I've got another one of Don Adams's, and it's a monster.
I believe it. I wonder what the poundage is. 120? 140 maybe?
So I'm 5'10". So let's put that bow at my toe.
Look
and
at
you'll
that.
see it's a couple of foot taller than me.
Yeah.
It's over 7 foot long. And that makes it a bit of an interesting bow, because you can get a longer draw. Now, this was, when I first had it, 96-pound draw weight. It was just too big, too heavy to shoot the way I used to shoot at Warwick Castle. And in fact, you know, as an old man now, and I need to be able to enjoy my shooting. So the reason I brought him out,
and you don't have to shoot the French anymore, so you're fine.
is he is such a lovely piece of you. The
Oh,
wood
it's yew.
for these, the staves for these war bows, yew is the best. Look at that. It is lovely. Lots of blemishes,
Wow.
lots of
Particularly Italian yew, by the way, from the Alps.
marks. Just a very simple mark to where the arrow actually rests. Nothing else.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got the heartwood and the sapwood.
Yeah.
As you bring him back, that hardwood, he doesn't like it. And the sapwood being stretched over, they want to go back to being a stick. And look, after all,
I love that way of explaining it. It's like grandpa way of explaining it. I'm not being disrespectful. I mean it in an endearing way. It's really fun because, yeah, I mean, you will never forget it after he explained it like this. Well, this guy's awesome.
those years, this one I think is about 20, 25 years old. Look how straight it's become.
Right.
You use ash, for instance. No problems with ash bows. I've made a few for friends recently. An ash bow, great fun. Nice, easy to shoot. The problem with them, if you shoot them too often, is they what call string follow. They stay in the shape of the bow.
I wonder if that happened as well with medieval ash, though, because I've read a few studies explaining the fact that medieval ash was actually denser than modern ash. So whatever ash bow that you produce these days wouldn't be the equivalent of what they would have had access to in period. Not to mention, as I was saying before, some of the best yew, for instance, when it comes to the density of the wood, came from the Alps in Italy. And that includes the yew that was used commonly to mass produce these in England. So a lot of English archers were using Italian wood, or Italian that they used to mass produce the longbows, which tells us that even not only there is a variety, a distinction between the type of ash or whatever yew or elm, whatever you're using as the basis constituent to produce the bow, there will be variance in time between modern and medieval availability, but there would also be variance that is regional, even in period, and they would behave differently. So what he's describing now is a good description of what is available in England today. I wonder if that's a good representation of ash used in the Middle Ages in another region of, say, continental Europe.
These yew bows, they go back
Probably
to being a stick. And that's just it. As you release that arrow, the bow flexes forward, really has the power. So on each end of this bow, you will see we have the horn nocks. Now, the horn has been bored out, so it's a socket that fits over the bow, and there you have an extra groove for the stringer. Same at the other end. This is nice the way this one's shaped. I think this is one I made actually, because it tells you that's the top of the bow. So let's string him. Now I haven't strung this bow for a few weeks, so let's have a look at the condition of the string. I've put a stringer on so I don't put any pressure on the bow. Tuck him under my toe, bring him up, loop him in. It sits nicely on the fist mel, but I can use a different drawer on this bow. Because it's so big, I've reduced the power. We tested this yesterday, 24 inches.
It's actually very smooth. Sometimes originals are a little bumpy.
It was into 70 pound. So it's
Right.
still a meaty old bow. I might fetch it down a little bit more. But to shoot him,
Yeah, please.
I can actually do a low draw on this. So let's have a go.
Please.
I can draw under the chin, under here.
Right. I'm sure
Now
it's an
I've
excellent
surrounded the
shot.
target. Let's see if I can pin the beggar.
Oh, wow.
Well, I've wiped the smile off his face.
Pin the
Got the
beggar.
man behind him. Looks like I'm going to have to finish him off with the dagger. So
That smile. I want to see
behind
that
him.
smile again.
Looks like I'm going to have to finish him off with the dagger.
This guy is awesome. I believe he lives in Canada now. I wish I could meet him in person.
So that's the bow. Now the bowstring, these are modern bowstrings that I use nowadays. I have made linen strings in the past.
Of course
They
he has.
stretch. I don't know what we're doing wrong. There's none left from the old days to show us what we're doing wrong. So these are
Right.
modern. These B50 twine is what I use. Bit of serving on there. Now I don't have anything else on the bows except a single mark.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's
And
how it
I
was.
often get asked, well, how do you know? Well, when you practice so much as I do,
Right.
you used to simply just put the arrow on at the right angle and let it.
Yeah, and you just feel it. I think it would have been absolutely the same for a medieval archer, specifically English archers, but in general, imagine modern people who are used to using a firearm, because you often go to the shooting range, and even more so if you work in the industry, if you work as a police officer, if you're military. In that case, even more so, but I mean, or you're American. In that situation, I would say, yeah, a lot of the things that, like, I know how to use firearms, but I'm just saying, own a few, but I'm just saying, say I didn't, maybe it might take me a second to remember a few things, to look down. It doesn't for you. Like, if you're used to doing this, to putting everything the way it's supposed to be, yeah, you're much better. Practice makes you perfect. Absolutely.
Him go.
Boom.
He's gone.
He's gone.
So it's quite simple. I know you can get knocks and different things put on, but for a straightforward bowman, medieval style, some people think I was in the medieval times. I know I'm old, but not that old. It's just a straightforward thing. So the string, you've got serving here.
Right.
This is to protect the bowstring from your fingers.
Actually, kind of, I know that this is a condition that he has in the hand, and I hope it never brought him any discomfort or any problems. But I actually find it fun because basically his hand is laminated. This is sapwood and this is hardwood. So this guy was born to be an archer. I mean, look at the hardwood, sapwood, in his hands. This guy's a longbow.
If you look, you've got to protect your fingers from the bowstring. If you don't, they'll rip apart. Just look at the state of this glove. I think this is the third layer I've put on it, and you can see how those sharp fletchings literally rip through the glove.
That'd be your skin.
Braces underneath there. So it's all very simple. It was described to me one day as 2 sticks and a bit of string. Well, I suppose it is. There's one stick. Here's another one. But you have a look at this.
With a bodkin head.
So this is a poplar arrow shaft.
I have so much respect for Fletchers, by the way. Not only the medieval ones, but the ones today. The people that kept this art. Because it is an art. It's a craft, or a crafty art, if you will. But I still think it's a form of art. It's amazing that people can actually do this so well, so accurately. So I've got to buy this. Where do you buy it? Kevin, where do you buy it?
It's got a heavy bodkin on the end. But I used to use ash arrows, very expensive, quite heavy. I like these poplar arrows. They're nice.
Poplar.
And they bend just enough. Well, you've seen them. And all the arrows I'm shooting at the moment, I've got these heavy bodkin tips. Man. So you have a steel tip. You have these are parallel shafts. In other words, they are even all the way down. So
whether the arrowheads were hardened or not is a matter of controversy, believe it or not. I don't think they ought to be. I don't think they needed to be, but
arrows are barreled at the end, thicker here, or some taper up. These straightforward arrow shafts. But look at the fletchings.
Yeah.
These are off the goose. Full length. They are glued on and they are tied on. And if you look through the end, there's just a thin sliver of bone through the nock. Oh. And that stops the bowstring simply slicing the arrow in half.
I see. So it's a bit... does it act as a wedge as well, I wonder?
Now, the guy who makes the bow, he's the bowyer. The guy who makes the arrow, he's an arrowsmith or a fletcher. The guy who shoots the bow, he's an absolute killer. Got him.
Man, this guy, when it comes to his sense of humor, I'll be honest with you, this is old school British humor, and it's the good one, like the one that is gone, the one that is right. We English humor in the proper sense. Anyways, you gotta subscribe to this guy. He's awesome. Anyways, subscribe to me as well. Why not? While you're at it. Thank you very much for watching. See you tomorrow.